SLR Turbo 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, it is time for the season finale of our first season in F1 2020 career mode, driving for Scuderia Ferrari. And guys, we are heading towards the best place to end an F1 season. We are heading towards Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix in Sao Paulo. You guys know you want to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds, and I do highly appreciate that, so thank you very much. Now guys, heading in towards this episode, we've got a lot of pressure on our shoulders, guys. Basically, we have to win the race in order to win the championship, and Valtteri Bottas must come eighth or lower. Now the chances of that happening without a DNF is quite low, but we are gonna do the best thing. We gotta do our job and just make sure we get into the lead and we stay there, and then we have to hope that something goes wrong for Valtteri. So guys, it's gonna be intense, it's gonna be a little bit nutty, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Now guys, this is like the third season break we've had, due to it only being a 10-race calendar, a little bit of a pandemic-themed calendar, but another season break before we head into the finale. Guys, please make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links in the description down below. Share this video with your friends. Tag me in the post or the story, and I will give you a shout out in a future video, as well as on social media. And guys, remember, I don't just give YouTube channels shout outs. I give shout outs to people who just want a shout out for their social media page. So please, if you want any sort of shout out, share the video and I will do what you want. Now, heading in towards this episode, guys, like I said, Brazil, it's a track that the AI are usually very strong at, so I'm going to have to be very careful about the decisions I make right throughout this weekend. You guys can see in qualifying, we're going to have a little bit of rain at the end, so probably only 2 runs in quali, but we will see how everything goes in quali. Looking at the performance chart to end off the season, guys, Mercedes are still leading the way from Ferrari in P2, Red Bull in P3. We're all on the same incline as we are starting to upgrade the car. Racing points have been caught up by Renault, Alfa Romeo, McLaren, and AlphaTauri, to be quite honest. So from Racing Point to AlphaTauri, there's going to be an intense battle for the final points this weekend. Haas are still the second worst team, with Williams rounding out the grid. Also, guys, I'm not going to lie to you guys, the stress is starting to set in, and as I went into qualifying, I was already a little bit of a waterfall myself, so we're going to have to do the absolute everything this weekend to make sure we end ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Unfortunately, the Constructors' Championship has already been lost to the previous round at our home GP in Italy, even though me and Vettel got a 1-2. Mercedes were just too far ahead to be caught, so they have got the Constructors, but can we take the Drivers' Championship? Heading towards the end of our first run in Q1, guys, as Mattia Bonotto squatted right next to me to tell me it is now or never. It is time to seal the championship. Guys, a lot of pressure on our shoulders, and I'm also sure that Mattia just said there, keep it clean, stay focused, minimal amount of mistakes. And but guys, before we can win the championship, we first need to qualify good. So as you guys said, at the end of our first run, unfortunately you guys will not be seeing my second run, as it was heavily jumpy. I actually did get 3 runs in qualifying before the rain came down, but my second run I don't know what happened to my PlayStation's recordings there, but it was just so jumpy. There was no way that I could use the footage, which is quite sad. As you guys can see, there is only a few minutes left in qualifying, and as I think now, I don't think the rain is going to come just to be... Well,
checks complete. We're ready.
Sorry for the tongue twister there, but it seems like the rain is only going to come after quali is done. You guys can see it is a bit doom and gloomy, but there was still a chance for everybody to go out for one final run in qualifying. So let's go around this beautiful racetrack in Sao Paulo, Brazil, through the Senna S DRS Open as we head on to the first of the two back, of the only back straight. down hard onto the brakes. Fourth corner for this next corner. I go down to third to get the car to turn in, mount the curb on the outside, use all the track possible, heading up the hill in towards the double right-hander. Here we go. It's a very fast corner. Be brave as it's a blind apex. Onto the outside curb, into the very technical second sector of this track. It's a right, into a left-handed hairpin. Very tight, squeeze the power on the way out as you head in towards this next right-handed hairpin. Once again, the middle sector here in Sao Paulo is very technical and just a little bit too much throttle and you will ruin your entire middle sector with oversteer. Here we go, into the final braking zone of the track. Left-hander onto the constant left-handed curbing. Back, well, main straight here at Interlagos. It's flat out all the way. You guys can see we're going to steal a little bit of slipstream from the Williams, and as we head towards the line, we are going to get ourselves up into P.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Hamilton, Vettel and Valtteri Bottas. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Not the best qualifying P4, guys, but we're going to have to hope that we get a good launch off the line to jump the Mercedes on the first lap. It's all or nothing, so let's head straight to the season finale at Interlagos. Oh yeah.
Formula One returns to Sao Paulo once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Brazilian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his third championship here in 2012, and in 2016, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the two DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. And so, for one final time this season, Anthony Davidson joins me in the commentary box.
Well, the winter break is looming once again. No doubt many of those teams already have their eyes firmly on next season. But there's still work to be done here. Still championship positions to decide, which can make a big difference to the prize money. So no one's going to be taking their foot off the throttle just yet.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Parker, Verstappen, Daniel Kvyat and Sainz, Gasly, Perez, Vettel and Alexander Albon, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen and Raikkonen, Grosjean, Latifi, George Russell and Lando Norris. Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Guys, just to sum up Ferrari's luck, Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, has got a grid penalty. So it's P3. It's basically going to be us versus the Mercedes. We're going to have to do with what we've got, guys. And for the final time this season, guys, it's time to jam with me on the formation lap. While you hit the subscribe down below, don't forget to click that bell to never miss an epic future episode here on Turbo Fox Races. And without further ado, let's get ready for the season finale race.
Together like we can change the weather tonight.
get ready for the Brazilian Grand Prix as we head towards 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Mercedes lock out the front row. You guys can see I jolt out of the way to not run into the back of Lewis Hamilton. It's 3 wide for the lead. Heading into the first corner, Ferrari V2 Mercedes. Here we go through the first corner. I squeeze out Bottas as we head through to the middle part of the center ace. Bottas loses out, but Hamilton runs right around my outside. That's a proper Mercedes double team there. I was too focused on Bottas and forgot about Hamilton. Head to the next corner, the Ferrari straight line speed helps me out a lot. We squeeze out Hamilton and open the door for Max Verstappen to take P2 from Hamilton as well. The perfect start for us indeed. Hamilton was a little bit hesitant on his throttle coming out of that corner. I don't feel I squeezed him that much. Bottas, however, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I am within the championship fight with Bottas, and I definitely squeezed Bottas a little bit more than I should have, but this is for the championship, guys. So it's myself leading the way from Verstappen P2, Hamilton P3, Bottas P4. Let's go back to my teammates POV for his start of the Grand Prix. You guys can see the Ferrari straight line speed and acceleration gets shown perfectly on Vettel's start as he just completely schools the racing points in a straight line through the middle part of the center ace. He gets the racing point, or not yet, through the third part, out of the center ace, now onto the part where I overtook Hamilton for the lead of the race. You guys can see Vettel is alongside the racing point still, gets alongside the AlphaTauri of, I think that is Pierre Gasly, and ahead of him is Danny Kvyat in the second AlphaTauri. But Vettel has got the elbows out. He is trying to fight with everything he's got for Ferrari. He knows I need his support as much as possible as he gets past Pierre Gasly and now is in between an AlphaTauri sandwich. We head back to the lead, guys. Like I said, myself leading the way from Verstappen P2. Hamilton is in P3 with Bottas in P4. He still needs to fall 4 positions for us to win the championship, guys. But it is now time for us to put pedal to the metal and push with everything we've got as we head towards the start-finish line. I don't know what happened to my tongue there, but we crossed the line to end the first lap in the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And now, here we go, into the center ace. You guys can see you have to be very careful on your entry and then have the maximum amount of momentum and speed as you come out of the center ace. We jump all the way to the end of lap 5, guys. Not a lot of action in those first few laps. We now jump on board with, I think, Carlos Sainz, if I'm not mistaken, as he is going for a move on the Williams of George Russell. Into the first corner, it looks like the Williams is searching for parking, or maybe not. Through the second part of the center ace, Sainz will have the inside as George is on the inside for the third part. You can also not forget about that Renault in the background. Is it Ricciardo or Ocon? It is Mr. Esteban Ocon. Ocon swerves left, swerves right. There's no way for him to go. He tries to go up the middle where there was no gap in the little. But it's actually Norris who we are looking at, not Sainz. But Norris runs right around the outside of the Williams and opens the door for Ocon as he's up the inside for this double right-hander, and he gets the move done on Russell. Russell deserves the Mercedes, just saying. Okay, on to the POV of the Alfa Romeo of, I think, Kimi Räikkönen. I'm not sure whether it's Räikkönen or Giovinazzi, guys. Here we go. He goes up the inside of the Red Bull. Okay, so clearly the Alpha's got good pace, and that straight line speed of the Alpha is proving dividends, and that was actually Giovinazzi who got past the Red Bull. Now heading on towards a few laps later, you guys can see now we jump on board with Daniel Ricciardo as both Renaults started at the back thanks to engine penalties. Into the first corner, Ricciardo forces his way to the inside of Kevin Magnussen. Through into the SNIS, here we go. So Ricciardo and Magnussen. Ricciardo will have the inside. Does he give Magnussen the squeeze? He does not, but the Renault's got the pace to get ahead of the Haas. Here we go, back onto my POV, guys. We jump all the way to lap 12. As I told you guys, that first stint, there was nothing interesting that happened. We are the first car to dive into the pit lane. And guys, I was going for the undercut gap extension, meaning I was going in first. There's nobody that I had to undercut except the time I had to Verstappen. I wanted to extend that gap to the utmost extent, and going for the undercut was the only way I saw fit, because now, even though I might come out into traffic, the Ferrari has got stupendous pace here, especially race pace around Interlagos, as Ocon gets past Norris as they head through the center ace. And there you guys can see in the background, I exit the pit lane, and now we are going to jump on board with myself. There we go, in the top right hand corner, you guys will see myself as we look still at the battle between Ocon and Norris, heading up the hill towards the double right-hander. Ocon is still in the lead. It seems that Norris just can't hang on to the rear end of that Renault, but that can be thanks to dirty air We jump back all the way to the front, guys. Well, we jump forward. We went backwards through the drivers, but we all jump all the way forward as we go from P20 to P1. You see, I'm a smart cookie. There we go. On board with Max Verstappen, who will dive it into the pit lane. Max is in, Lewis is in, but Bottas decides to go for the overcut. I think Mercedes have just told Bottas, put your foot to the floor and try and get as much space out of the car as possible. Max fuel, max ERS, just go rogue, basically. So you can see it's a very busy pit lane. Verstappen gets out ahead of Hamilton, who got held up by the AlphaTauri. Vettel jumps sides for another position. Guys, that's one place closer for Vettel to actually support me as we go up the inside of Norris and now right behind Ocon as we are going to jump everybody that comes out of the pit lane. The undercut was definitely the way to go, and now we've got a bigger gap to Verstappen while he is going to get held up by Norris and Ocon as soon as I passed Esteban. Ooh, it's very close to the rear wing of that Renault as we head up the hill now towards the double right-hander. You guys can see I even go a little bit off track there to find the space, but we are up the inside of Esteban Ocon, and that is us now. I'm not exactly sure what position. That little screen on the top right is little tiny, but you guys will probably be able to see when the video is on 720p. But there we go. Now we jump back on board with Valtteri Bottas as we are stuck behind, I think, a Haas, to be quite honest. There it looks like Kevin Magnussen. Bottas dives into the pit lane 2 laps later than we did, even though Interlagos here has got a very short lap, but Bottas locks up heading into the pit lane. Nearly got a penalty there for speeding in the pit lane. You guys see I went up the inside of Kevin Magnussen through the final braking zone of the track. Albon is in. Here we come on the main straight. You guys can see actually the replay camera does not have the shadows of the okay, sorry, I just talked over Jeff there, but in any case, the replay version of the game does not have the shadows of the grandstand on the main straight, which is a little bit sad. Cody's #fix, but not the end of the world. You can see Verstappen still comes out ahead of the Mercedes, but Bottas has made the overcut work a treat, and that is the last thing I need. He's ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Is there no luck for us this weekend here in Brazil? You guys can see I'm doing everything that I possibly can and that I must to win the championship, but I can't do anything about Bottas. The only thing I could do to him was give him the squeeze in the first lap. And that's up the inside of Kimi Räikkönen. It's a very late move from myself, but you guys can see I've got a sense of urgency within myself just to extend the gap to Verstappen behind us. We need to push as hard as humanly possible. And let's run through the top 10 now, guys. It is myself leading the way of the Brazilian Grand Prix as we cross the line. And that is us now in P1 still. We are doing everything possible, just like Felipe Massa in 2008 when he was fighting against Lewis Hamilton and his teammate Kimi Räikkönen for the World Championship. You've got Verstappen P2, Bottas P3, Hamilton P4, Vettel with the number 5 on his car is in P5. P6, it is Danny Kvyat for AlphaTauri. P7, it is Carlos Sainz for McLaren. P8 is Sergio Perez, followed by his teammate Lance Stroll in P9. And I think P10 will be Alex Albon, if I'm not mistaken. Actually not. It's the winner of this past weekend's Italian Grand Prix. Mr. Pierre Gasly is in P10. That's actually very funny. Vettel's the number 5 car in P5. Gasly is the number 10 car in P10. That's actually very funny. We've got an engine blowout for Sergio Perez. He is out of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And this opens up the door for Pierre Gasly to make a move on Lance Stroll, who was held up by his teammate. And guys, I can confirm that Gasly did not get the move done on Stroll, unfortunately. But we will see if there's any further stuff happening between those two drivers further on in the race. As we look here at a battle for the wooden spoon between Roman Grosjean and Nicholas Latifi. Just a fun little battle. We don't see these cars at all in the career mode, basically, guys. So that was a fun thing to look at. We now jump on board with the P7 man, Mr. Carlos Sainz, the number 55 vehicle. As he is, he's slowing down. He's slowing down. For the man that stood on the podium in 2019 here at Brazil. It is over for the Spaniard, and he is out of the Brazilian Grand Prix alongside Checo. And that is heartbreak there for Carlos Sainz in the season finale of Season 1. We now jump on board with the Honey Badger, Daniel Ricciardo, as he goes for the move on Kimi Räikkönen into the first corner. What a beautiful move there from the Honey Badger. There we go, Danny Rick. The Australian is up another position, having a brilliant fight back thus far. We now jump on board with Valtteri Bottas as he is behind Max Verstappen. for this Brazilian Grand Prix P2. Guys, Bottas can just sit behind Verstappen, but we obviously know he will want to end off this season in fashion as he goes up the inside of the Dutchman into the first corner. There is nothing that Max can do about it. He is still there on the inside, but I think Bottas has got the move done, and now that opens up the door for Lewis Hamilton. But guys, Verstappen is immensely slow in a straight line. I think Verstappen might have a problem with his car. That is a very, very, very big possibility. So Verstappen, he is done right around the outside by Lewis Hamilton. And even Vettel wants a little poke at Verstappen. There must be some sort of fault with Max Verstappen's car. We jump on board with my teammate Sebastian Vettel just at the end of that lap. And here we go. Vettel on Verstappen, up the hill on the main straight, heading in towards the first corner. Here we go. Vettel is around the outside of Verstappen even before we get to the Senna S. And that is Vettel now up into P4. Fantastic comeback drive from Sebastian, as he is actually supporting me now. And he needs to give those Mercedes, he needs to give them hell. He needs to stay on their gearboxes, pressure them until they make a mistake. Here, you guys can see, we are now on board with Lance Stroll on Pierre Gasly. You guys can see, Gasly actually did get past eventually, which we missed, unfortunately. But Lance Stroll gets back up, and I think that is actually now for P7, now that Sainz and Perez are out of the Grand Prix. Here we go. Hamilton on Bottas, heading into the first corner. Please, Hamilton, do me a solid. I can't believe I'm asking Lewis Hamilton for a favor. Here we go. Hamilton is right behind Bottas, very closely followed by Sebastian Vettel, my teammate. Here we go. Vettel, Hamilton, Bottas, who will take P2 in this Brazilian Grand Prix as we are out and about in the lead. Once again, a sort of a boring race for ourselves from a viewer's perspective. But guys, trust me, when you are in the cockpit driving your heart out, it is everything but boring, because I can see on the left-hand side where Bottas is. Remember, I'm in the lead, so I see the top 5. I could see Bottas was still in P4. And guys, as we come to the line to start the final lap of the race, while we have blue flag runners ahead of us, the only thing going through my mind, and I know this might seem very selfish, but I was hoping and praying that Bottas would get some sort of engine failure or something, because he was struggling with some engine issues. That is why Vettel and Hamilton schooled him. But now, Sebastian Vettel, to show Mercedes that we are going to be coming for them in Season 2, goes for a move on the final lap on the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. And that is Vettel now, the 5-time world champion, up into P2 of the Brazilian Grand Prix. For those of you guys that are new to the series, Vettel won one championship on my F1 2019 career mode, which we are just continuing into the F1 2020 game, and he won the first season of F1 2019. So in my personal fantasy world of F1, he is a 5-time world champion. The number 5 world championships, it just suits him perfectly. But guys, look at my tire wear. My right front is on 81%, my right rear is on 71%, and on the left side, we are within the high 60s. But what a race, guys. But unfortunately, it is not enough to secure the world championship.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. Victory today then, but bittersweet emotions, I'm sure, as the championship slips through their fingers. Even so, what a fantastic final race of the season this was. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today, an incredible performance.
Nothing can challenge the leaders of the Constructors' Championship at this point, but it's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Guys, what a Brazilian Grand Prix. It wasn't enough. Guys, like I said at the beginning of this season, any mistake will be met with much harsher consequences because of the season being so short. We lose out with, 7 points to Valtteri Bottas? That is, guys, that's the difference between winning a race and coming second. The race win is 25 points. Second place is 18 points. So if there was one more race where we could have won and got the fastest lap, which is worth an extra point, we would have been able to win this championship. That is how sad this is. But guys, that is the harsh motorsport that we all love. That is the motorsport world. That is Formula One. And we unfortunately come up second best in the Drivers' Championship and also in the Constructors' Championship for Ferrari. But guys, that does not mean that it's the end of the line. We need to renegotiate with Ferrari to stay with them for Season 2 because our business here is not done.
Here you can make salary demands to the team. Any extra over your base salary will go into your perk fund. The more you demand, the lower the chances of our success. Do make sure that you don't go demanding anything unrealistic for your acclaim level. If you do, the team might refuse to negotiate any more with you in this negotiation period.
Guys, I love Ferrari. I'm not gonna go high risk, I'm gonna go medium risk, just so we get the money we deserve and that we stay with Ferrari. And guys, I have to be honest with you guys. Like I said, we've got undone business here at Ferrari. We've still got a lot of work to do, and I'll be damned if I don't win a world championship for my favorite team in Formula One. I am Ferrari crazy. Anybody who knows me will know. When it comes to Italian manufacturers, I live and breathe Ferrari. I love Ferrari. It's just, I know this team since I've been a little kid due to Formula One. And I have to win a championship with them. There is no two ways about it. I want to follow in the footsteps of Michael Schumacher. I can't remember if Alan Prost actually won a championship with Ferrari, but I want to follow Michael Schumacher, Kimi Räikkönen, and all the greats who won championships in a Ferrari. Niki Lauda, for Pete's sakes. We need to take a championship for Ferrari, but not just a Drivers' Championship. I want to seal a Constructors' Championship win and just give Mercedes a nice knuckle sandwich with a dub.
Nice job this season. You've been performing well, and that's putting us in a strong negotiating position contract-wise. Plus, my 10%'s getting more valuable. So enjoy your break, and keep up the good work next year.
Thank you, Emma. We will try our best to keep up the good work next year. Guys, into Season 2, it's not going to be a teeny tiny short 10 race season. We are jumping into the full 22 race season, and now it is time to fight. From the first race in Australia, we can't hang back. Mercedes are gonna be there. Red Bull are most certainly gonna be there. You don't know if some of the midfield's gonna come up. You can never count out Racing Point, McLaren, or Renault. You never know. Even somebody like Haas might just suddenly go boop, we're the fastest. Anything and everything can happen in the F1 game, and you can never be too relaxed within a season. It is crunch time now for us at Ferrari. We have to take the fight to Mercedes and to anybody else who wants a shot at the F1 World Championship, whether it's the drivers or the constructors, both matter. But guys, just like Felipe Massa in 2008, there was absolutely nothing more that we could do. We did everything perfect this weekend, but Bottas just stayed clean and consistent, and he kept his head down, and he is the first season Drivers' World Champion of our F1 2020 career mode. But you guys know me, season 2, I'm not gonna let up. I'm gonna push with everything I've got. And like I said, I'll be damned. I won't leave Ferrari until we seal a Drivers' and a Constructors' World Championship. And I know Sebastian Vettel is the perfect teammate to help me with the Constructors. Guys, that has been this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Please, if you haven't done it yet, drop a like down below on the video, especially if you are excited for season 2 of this crazy career mode. Please follow me on social media on my social media platforms. Links in the description down below. Share this video with your friends. Tag me in the post or the story for whatever you want a shout out for. I will give it to you. Just tag me in the post so I can make sure that you are not trying something, you know? And guys, finally, if you haven't done it yet, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future video or stream here on Superfox Races. It's been amazing with you guys for season 1. Hopefully we can carry our very good season 1 ending momentum into season 2, because we are definitely going to need it. Hamilton, myself, Vettel, Bottas, maybe Verstappen and Albon, you never know. I'll see y'all next time. Cheers!